That's Sharon J. Zhao. I think I'm saying their name right. I really want to get to their books because they seem like an interesting person. I want to see what their books are like. All right. So hopefully this contains a summary of what's going on.
And it's so heinous that I thought I should make a video explaining everything that happened and getting all the facts together in one place. The gist is that a white author debuting in 2024 has been caught using fake Goodreads accounts to one-star bomb other debuts who are mostly POC.
Yeah, okay, so that's the basic premise of it, where it's like, oh, we found this debut author who has decided to review bomb other mostly people of color authors who are debuting alongside them as like an attempt to sabotage them to maybe then boost their own crap. Like, it's such a confusing thing to even have done, because like, what were you hoping to gain out of this? Like, what the is wrong with you? And here's the thing. I see some people taking the wrong takeaway from this, where I've seen some people being like, wow, imagine like giving your own book a good review. First of all, I wanted to let you know, especially small authors, all go give their own books 5-star reviews, whether it's under their main account or whether it's under an anonymous one because they feel kind of embarrassed. Like, everyone gives their own book a 5-star. That's common. That's fine. I don't even think it's that bad. I don't think it's newsworthy if she just made a couple extra accounts to give her book like an extra couple 5 stars. Who cares? That's not a big deal. It's the going after other debut smaller authors and giving them 1 stars. What the hell? Now, if that wasn't bad enough, it gets weirder and worse. So let's continue. Also, Sharon J. Zhao, go follow them. They do really great work. Fantastic content creator. And from what I've heard, I haven't read their books yet, author.
31 pages of receipts in a Google Doc, which you can find on my Twitter at Sharon J. Zhao. But they go way back to April of this year. The accounts expended what must have been a ton of effort to make themselves look legit by rating dozens of books, but what gave away the game was that they would always rate one particular book, Crown Starlight by Cait Corrain, on a bunch of different lists. I had known about this for a while, but I held my tongue because the victims wanted me to. They wanted to try and resolve it privately at first, and this did not work out.
So that's kind of another huge part of this. They had every opportunity to correct the behavior. Apparently the people they review bombed reached out to them and tried to resolve this, but I don't want to assume, because all I know is what Sharon J. Zhao has said here, and I have looked at their Google Doc of receipts. It's a lot. But like, how could you get caught doing something like this, know you've been caught, and not immediately take that olive branch that someone extends to you of like, hey, we can resolve this, just stop, and put it all back to 0. That's such a simple, great solution that will not ruin your career, because what we are watching here is someone committing career suicide. Even if your average reader does not hear about this behavior, everyone in the industry is going to hear about it, and no one will want to work with you again. Period. One other thing I want to also add here is, please do not, I know I'm like defending the asshole here. Don't go harass this person who's been caught doing this. Don't go try and like do anything beyond just being aware of the situation and being like, probably I'm never going to buy a book from this person again. Because it's not, you never harass someone about this. Also, despite them absolutely being the one who's in the wrong, it's a lot when the internet comes at you in this way. And if you want this person to just, trust me, they know what they did is wrong, just leave them alone and go support the people who are their victims. That's what I want to encourage. Don't go attack this person despite them doing something that I think is absolutely horrible. The only reason I say this is because there's crazy people online who, despite this deserving a reaction, overreact. I just need to put that out there. All right, continuing on.
They were told to let it go. I was not going to let it go. Especially when the morning after Cait was finally alerted that people were catching on to these accounts, they went on Twitter to paint themselves as one of the
nasty surprise of the day was learning that there were fake accounts messing with my Goodread ratings recently. If you actually read my book and want to review it, that would be great. As a reader interested, pre-release, it tells my book publisher that my book is worth investing in. And this is not the point. This is not the point. I want to make sure that I make it clear. This is not the point of it all. But there is a whole other side to this where Goodreads has known things like this are a problem on their platform for years and years, and they have done nothing to prevent this kind of behavior. Nothing. That is just beyond, in my opinion. That is another whole other angle we don't need to get into because that's not the focus of this. But Jesus Christ, Goodreads.
To further promote their book, Straw That Broke Me. The night of December 5th, I tweeted about the situation while not naming any names because I still wanted to give whoever did it one final chance to make amends in private or figure out who did it if it was truly not them. Well, my tweets blew up on book Twitter and suddenly everybody was trying to figure out who I was talking about. I've heard of group chats reviving out of the void just to go through like lists of debuts one by one to rule them out. I swear y'all are so...
This, I will say, I don't know how experienced. Oh, thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate it. Experience here in Zhao is with dealing with stuff like this. But just as a warning for anyone else out there, if you accuse someone of something like this is the reaction you will get. It's very hard to bring stuff like this to light online and it not get found out who you're talking about very easily. The internet is surprisingly good when it comes to drama and investigating. So I'm not trying to say Zhao knew this person would be found out. I don't know what their level of experience is and stuff like this. But in general, just be aware, if you're going to make an accusation, it's going to probably get found out because people are willing to spend hours and hours ruling people out and seeing who you could be talking about.
Contacted by an associate of Cait's who told me the accounts were actually made by a friend of Cait's from the Raylo fandom who thought they were helping Cait out. And I was given screenshots of a conversation of Cait discovering this. I did not believe this explanation. I did not believe this was a real conversation. I found it so stilted and...
Okay. If you're going to try and fake something like this, which, let's be honest, we know this is because of more information that I'm sure Zhao is going to be getting into. Do it well. But I can see the color lines from like where things have been cut in Splice. And they also, I'm just going to go ahead and say something I'm sure is going to be brought up here in a second. They got the timestamps wrong. So the conversation happens out of order. Like, I'm not endorsing being an asshole, but if you're going to be an asshole, be a smart asshole. God. Okay, also, if you're going to try and prove chats like this are real, don't ever just bring screenshots. You can always request logs from blogs or websites that will give you straight up, not screenshots, but like, here's what the server says. This cannot be cheated. Get that. If you really want people to believe you, get that.
And there was a sudden villain twist at the end on the friend's part. And I didn't notice this until later, but the timestamps jumped from yesterday to today in the same screenshot. But what is this quantum dynamic time travel conversation? Screenshots of more conversations between Cait and this friend that must go back to at least April, and I would not end up receiving any further evidence. While I was waiting, by the next...
Yeah, because the account was just created to make this like fake conversation happening. Again, do not harass this person. They are already being roasted online. They are already being dragged through the coals, which they deserve. But just like, don't add on to it, right? Their career's over. No one's ever going to work with them. The punishment has been put on them. I'm just trying to say this. But this should be looked at as like a case study for careers in this industry. Because this person, even with all of this aside, from what I understand, was getting positive reviews on their debut book. They were getting some hype. This wasn't someone who needed to do this. They had a promising potential. And now behaving in this way has utterly destroyed that for them. It's just wild to me. It's wild.
Next day, Cait's name was floating around in all the author whisper networks. Finally, in the private Slack server for 2024 debuts, Cait confessed to being the subject of my tweets, but continued with the friend explanation and showed the same screenshots to the entire group. The group did not buy it. They demanded the same thing I did. More screenshots of conversations that go back further than this. Cait could not produce any, even though it had been over 6 hours since I first asked for them. I don't think they're very good with Photoshop. Anyway, the other debuts asked for this person's Discord. Deleted. Twitter. Deleted. Any proof that they exist. None.
Big shout out to Jared and Zhao for covering this so well and so thoroughly. It's important if something like this is going to happen, because internet drama wants to be reactionary in the moment and react to pieces of information. It's very important for like a full video going through and explaining like this to exist. So big shout out for them. And also, I think, in my opinion, handling this situation rather tactfully. But now that it's out, yeah, it needs to be talked about in a way where people can quickly go get the full context so that they're not just reacting to a part of it. Because in that case, people could come across just the screenshots, not notice the mistakes, and then be like on the author's side. The fact that something like this exists is genuinely very helpful.
He left a chat saying, oh, it's clear that you guys are not going to believe me, like, no matter what I say, so bye. After that, a friend of Cait, who happens to have albinism, accused one of the victims, a black disabled woman, of deliberately targeting her with the saying, albino snake in a henhouse, in a tweet she made venting about the situation. Except this tweet was posted 3 hours before anybody knew that this person was Cait's best friend. Now, I'm not in a position to debate whether this was ableist because it's a popular black southern saying, but this was clearly just an accusation to deflect from—
It wasn't, because they didn't know, so it wasn't. Context matters in my opinion. That wasn't ableist. That was them saying a common saying in their culture. Simple as that. Period. Context matters. Jesus. I'm not that I'm saying anything against the Jared and Jay Giles coverage, just for my opinion, like, clearly the answer is there.
The main scandal. And I snapped and tweeted out the 31 pages of evidence. It was like I dropped a nuke on book Twitter. It blew up. Hundreds of people were accessing the documents at the same time, reacting live to these screenshots after screenshots of these fake accounts, like one-star bombing like fellow debuts, other Greek myth romances, and just like really popular books in general. The level of jealousy, I swear. Screenshots of Cait's conversation with her friend were also publicized, and that's when the Raylos entered the courtroom and took to the witness stand.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know about this part. Okay, so I'm just going to assume this is just more thoroughly proving this person was entirely wrong.
They were like, we have cross-referenced our group chats, and we do not know of any Lily among us. Furthermore, textual analysis of this conversation, using Cait's old fanfiction as a reference, points to this being written by the same person. What's worse is that the two biggest Raylo writers, who became actual published authors, Ali Hazelwood and Taya Guanzong, were among the books that got bombed.
Oh my God! It's just... Okay, there's a lot of reactions to that could come out, but I'm just going to say, if you're going to take a lesson away, a life lesson from this situation, just know, if you get caught, don't double down. Because I am someone, and I think many people share this opinion, that we are all human. We do very stupid things. We all make mistakes. It's not about... Oh, sorry about the video being quiet. I will turn it up. It's not about like trying to live a life where you never make a mistake. This is a very, very bad mistake. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a horrible mistake. I think should very much so negatively affect your career. But if you're caught and you immediately say, I did this, I'm very sorry. It came from a place of insecurity. It came from a place of jealousy, and I'm going to try and work on it, and I will change my behavior and correct it immediately. I can still trust you're an adult who can grow. Right? I still can trust, like, I don't think your life should be ruined forever, right? But if you then come out and say, you all are just accusing me, it's not true, here's very obviously fake evidence, and then you continue to attack other big people in this community you claim to be a part of, all of that goes away. All of that's gone. There's now no behavior change, I'll believe, in the future, because you have not displayed you're a mature enough person to grow in general, to take a step back and go, wow, let's reevaluate. It's very clear. It's very clearly someone just showing you they're not an adult.
Taya especially had been friends with Cait for years. They've met in real life. Taya gave Cait's book a really heartfelt endorsement, and Cait proceeded to rate Taya's book, The Hurricane Wars, 2 stars with all the fake accounts. Cait also did something similar to me, like asking me for a blurb while rating my book 3 stars on the accounts, but it's 3 stars, it's like whatever, it's not nearly as bad as what happened to everyone else. The main victims of this are the poisons we—
Why would you rate it like different? Like, if you're trying to just be a petty bad person, rate everyone 1, right? But no, like now you're like being like, well, I like this person a 3 out of 5 star. Like it's adding this weird psychological personality angle to it that, you know, maybe you should read nothing into, but it provides you a little bit to read something into it, and it makes the whole thing just a little more ew. Like a little more,
Frank by Bethany Baptiste, So Let Them Burn by Camila Cole, To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X. Chung, Voyage of the Damned by Frances White, and Mistress of Lies by K.M. Unright. These are all upcoming books, so please support them and their authors after everything they've been through. And also,
Oh, sorry, I just got a note passed to me from Kayla. That was so like, oh, we're in the middle of a live broadcast. You're gonna be like, breaking news. There's an update.
No. Filling out forms.
Oh, that was funny. I stole your pen. I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay.
All right. Wow. One of the angles to this, I also like. I'll never get this answer, but like, if I could interview the author who's done this and like ask them one thing, it still goes back to the first big what the hell of this for me, which is when it was brought to your attention that the people found out you were doing this, and it could have been resolved privately. Why? Like, why didn't you then go, oh, this is okay. Like, this is just. This could ruin my career. Let's do the best I can to show these people that I'm not terrible and that I'm willing to do the right thing. Because then none of this would have happened. I don't know.
another author really unfairly targeted is R.M. Virtues. He is a black indie author, and Cait once starred his Gods of Hunger series, probably because they're also Greek myth fantasy romances. Please check his books out. The first one, Drag Me Up, is a black queer reimagining of Hades and Persephone, featuring Hades as a black casino owner and Persephone as a trans black aerial dancer. It sounds pretty cool, so like,
it does sound cool.
I honestly do.
Oh, speaking of, I'm reading just in like a kind of similar characters being utilized way. I'm currently reading Lore Olympus because Kayla loves it so much, so look out for my review on that in the future, I guess.
I do not know why Cait made the effort to do all of this while they had a like traditional publishing deal. It was super hyped. It is the May pick for Illumicrate next year. It was getting really great reviews from advanced readers.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? You ever seen someone destroy their own life?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. They had potential. They could have been something. They were getting hype. They were getting more hype than my books ever have gotten. Like, I'm someone who, okay, I also want to give the sympathetic angle. I know how terrifying it is to put a book out. As I said at the beginning, I rated my own books 5 stars. I think I even went into an old Amazon, excuse me. I think I even went into an old Amazon account I had and was like, I can rate it 5 stars here too, right? Because like, I'm insecure and it's like, if it's embarrassing, like, oh, that's sad. But you know what I didn't do? I then didn't go rate a bunch of other stuff 1 star. Like, that's so crazy to me. I don't know. The human mind's not logical. I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, right? There's a long history of people being very illogical when it comes to these kind of decisions. So,
and if you need to hear another piece of proof that Cait was the one who did this, one of the accounts, CC, can be confirmed to be Cait's by the friends list, and it upvoted Crown of Starlight on the same 37 obscure lists as the other fake accounts.
I actually don't understand Goodread lists that much, so I don't know how that's like benefiting the author anymore, more beyond that. So I can't attest to how that contributed to them being found out or anything. But it just falls into the level of effort that had to be put in. Like, this was tons of time. Tons of effort from your evenings or your mornings, whenever you decide to let your jealousy take the wheel, to do this. And that's kind of like wild. Like, I don't understand, at no point during this long process you have the wherewithal to look back and be like, oh, wait, I could have like put in a lot of time into my sequel or making my book better, but instead I'm doing this. Anyway.
The lists. It was always the lists. So much effort put into this, and their obsession with those 37 obscure lists was what brought them down in the end.
Concluding thoughts, if you're gonna be an asshole, you gotta be real smart. And if you get some kind of way out, an olive branch, take it. You know, that's simple as that. There's so many opportunities for this to not gone off poorly as it did. And to me, that's the really surprising part.
Have a successful book launch ready. I don't get it.
Kayla's a little more angry than I am. I'm more, I guess, like disappointed is the feeling that I feel. We're gonna move on here to the next news story, but maybe should I just drop this reaction to the whole Jaren J. Zhao thing as its own separate video? I might just do that because I was adding commentary. I think that was transformative. And also massive shout out to Jaren J. Zhao. I'll have them linked if I do in the description. And I do plan on checking out their books as well. God damn. Damn, dude.